Hi, I'm Chris from Airwindows, and I have one of the things I've been promising people for some time, namely Ditherbox. Here is Ditherbox. It's hiding underneath these two things. I've got BitShiftGain here, and it is showing off what Ditherbox can do. Namely, I can do this. I've just turned 24-bit audio to 8-bit. Now, you might not fully get the sense of what this is, as far as 8-bit sounding like this. It might not be that striking to you. You might not be used to that sort of thing. So what I can do is check this out. I've just turned it down a little bit. We can turn it off to show you what the natural sound is, a high resolution sound is. Here's what it sounds like. I've just taken this down 16 bits. This is what 16-bit truncation sounds like if you don't use dither. Bit of a shock, huh? That is what is sitting beneath your audio if you're doing raw truncation to whatever bit depth it is. That's the bottom of the audio that you're working with, is a pile of opaque, nasty garbage like that. So what we do is we dither. Here's a kind of dither, flat dither. And you can hear that the audio is sort of down there. It's also sort of covered up. This isn't even the ideal kind of dither because we've also got TPDF dither. That sounds like this. It's a little fuller, a little denser. Now what I've done is come up with all these kinds of dithers, and Ditherbox comes in both 16 and 24-bit settings. Anything else you can use BitShiftGain to do. The individual dither plugins that I have for all of these things are essentially they're 24-bit only, and you can do 16-bit by using BitShiftGain with them. But now that Ditherbox is out, you can simply set a 16-bit setting directly. Under normal circumstances, this will give you CD style output, and you can save directly to 16-bit using this tool without messing around with BitShiftGain or anything of the sort. But what I'll do is I'll show you what each of these dithers do. Here's our TPDF. Remember, that is the noise floor. This is the digital noise floor you're dealing with. It's okay, but it's kind of opaque. You can't hear the music anymore. But here's a variety of things. Like high gloss dither is kind of weird. The idea is to make it be sort of a combination between the two. It's a little bit like TPDF and it's a little bit like truncation. It's got some edge to it. But that was not one of your high resolution dithers. Now, vinyl dither is a little closer to high resolution. Some people might actually like it. It sounds like surface noise. It's got very high linearity for low frequency sounds. It is kind of loud, though. It blocks out the sound more than a little bit. Spatialize was fairly clever. Spatialize uses randomness like a regular dither, but if it's given exact values, it tries to use the exact values rather than skip them, and it sounds like this. You'll notice it's bringing up sound that's lost in the usual wash of regular dither. For a while there, this was one of my best. Naturalize is a technique that involves doing Benford realness calculations on the audio. And what we do is we look at the bit stream of the audio as it's being sent through, looking for patterns that imply capture of real phenomena, and rather than measuring that, we're faking it. Benford realness calculations means that you've got patterns in the bits in such a way that it's more like if you were recording real data. Now, digital audio doesn't necessarily give you that, but if you turn on naturalized dither, it's kind of like noise. In fact, it is noise. But the noise has a kind of organic quality, and what's lying beneath it is more natural than, say, you can't hear through to the sound very well that way. And that's a little bit artificial sounding, it's a little bit boosted. Naturalize puts all the audio at the correct values, but I beat naturalized when I came up with Not Just Another Dither. That sounds like this. Now that's got some weird qualities to it. As you can hear, the noise that is below, this is pretty well below the noise floor. Remember, TPDF is this. Not Just Another Dither is this. If you'd like to boost it a tiny bit, it quickly becomes a sort of white noisy kind of fizz. Again, TPDF. Not Just Another Dither. So as you can hear, it's like a white noise fizz. It's very high in frequency, even when it's turning into artifacts. And when it's super duper faint, it's trying to gate itself. Like, check this out. When it's done, go silent. So this will give you digital black. I can also show you what it's like in the 24-bit level. Again, this is 8-bit audio. And again, I can compare that to truncation. Dither. And then Not Just Another Dither again. But of course it's easier to hear what this is doing when it is at the literal digital noise floor that will sound like this if you don't do anything about it. So Not Just Another Dither is my highest performance one, although you do have other options, like Naturalize is the same thing but with just big wash of noise on it. And Spatialize, again, noise but sort of more highs. Vinyl is kind of like vinyl surface noise and so on. There's also a couple of other features in Ditherbox that you might not have known about if you didn't get to use it, because this has been Mac only up until, well, right about now. So if we don't have BitShiftGains going on, we've got the normal volume of everything. now I'm dithering it to 24-bit. This is good to put on the end of your mix bus, but we've got a couple of other options. See where the meters are coming to? SlewOnly monitoring. That's only the highs, and the idea is it's calibrated so that the levels and peaks should come out to about the same as the full mix. You want to have a little more energy in the SlewOnly. It's boosted just a bit. You can also use it as a funny sort of EQ. Speaking of EQs, here's another one, SubsOnly monitoring. Same deal. If you're working with your mix, it should be maybe peaking to about the same place in each of these, like regular mix. You should have about as much in highs. This mix is a little shy in those. It could have a little more sort of brightness and shimmeriness to it. And subs. This mix is overly full of subs. You can plainly hear it because you're probably used to hearing this one by now. And you know that it's got the deep lows. But in so doing, they're just filling everything up. Switch back to the regular stuff. And we're as much as 6 dB down. Back to the subs. And it's just filling everything up completely. There's one other one available, and that is noise silhouette monitoring. And that's like this. What noise silhouette monitoring is for is listening to a mix that's maybe been limited or clipped or compressed. The idea is that you should be able to hear the dynamics of the mix coming through even when you are changing it only to bursts of noise that are these calibrated bursts of noise that the plugin Silhouette that was around a long time ago for Mac only. This is now PC available as well. And this is just noise, but it's tracking the dynamics that you've got. And you should be able to hear the dynamics through it. Here's another track. And can we hear the dynamics through this? A little bit. It doesn't have much weight to it. And again, I can demonstrate that by going subs monitoring. And that's about the same level. SlewOnly monitoring. Again, you could make it be brighter, but it doesn't really need to be. And then the noise silhouette. We can switch to other stuff as well. This is the techno track. Heard this one before. So that's the final thing in Ditherbox, is this noise silhouette monitoring. The idea of it is that you should be able to hear dynamics still if you've overcompressed things. For instance, what I could do is turn this off, replace one of the BitShiftGains with something, I don't know, or replace it with something amusing that we don't have yet, but you'll be having it soon. It's kind of like this. Let's pretend you're like hyper-compressing stuff with a strange tool like this. If you turn on the noise silhouette monitoring, what you get is this. Because this compressor is capable of dynamic inversion. But if we just introduced it, and we didn't put it into dynamic inversion. And this is a very bumpy track to do this with also, so let's see whether I can. Now we turn on noise level monitoring. Anytime that pedal tone is going on, you can't hear any beats in there at all. And we can go back to Empty Pictures, which is a more generic rocky track kind of thing. There's what it's like without any compression. And here's what it's like with that crazy compression. With the noise silhouette monitoring, you can no longer hear any beats in it at all. Compare it with what it was like without the compression. You can kind of hear some thumping in there. And then if we overcompress it, we compress the life out of it. And it sounds kind of like you have music here, but then if we turn the noise silhouette on, all goes away. So this is your technique for learning how to not hypercompress. Try to avoid this style of mixing where you have the compression going on and everything is exploding and it's really amazing, but if you put on the silhouette, well, there's nothing left. Take it away. And we've got some beats again. So that's Ditherbox. It is for free because I'm supported by Patreon. So the idea is if I can do stuff that's so amazing, and if you can afford to do so, I used to sell these at $50 a pop. So if I can fill your DAW with plugins, huge numbers of plugins, and there's a couple of them, say, that are so amazing that you would use them all the time on everything, like maybe Ditherbox, if the tools that it gives you are useful, then I would ask, please join my Patreon for, if you can only afford it, like $1 a month, or I've got tiers set up, and all they do is they work out how much it would cost you if you were going to buy these at $50 a pop. Because the way they work is essentially, you can donate $50 a year, and what you get is much as if you were buying the plugin at $50 and getting a perpetual license with support, and also getting the source code, which is more than people usually give you when they sell you plugins for even higher costs than that. So if you like the way that this is treating you, please join the Patreon and support it. It really means everything to me. This is why I've been able to keep doing this for a couple of years, and if you count the numbers of plugins I put out, I've been a very busy little boy. I'd like to continue doing that, and I'd like to expand the library of open source plugins, and that's exactly what I'm doing. So here again is Ditherbox with its many options of things that you can do with it, and audio monitoring tools that are useful. Some of these are already available in VST form, but Silhouette didn't actually make it into VST form. So, and also you get to switch back and forth between them because it's a kind of mix tool. I hope you like this plugin. I made it hoping that it would be useful, and with a bit of luck, it's going to be all kinds of useful to people. Talk to you later.